Blue Beetle has a shiny new movie coming out, and while I think the movie looks really fun, there really doesn't seem to be a lot of interest from the general public, which is reflected in the poor box office projections. Now that can be wrong, but given how the last two DC movies, Shazam 2 and The Flash, underperformed and got critically panned, I don't expect Blue Beetle to be given any luxurious treatment or success, especially given the ongoing writer and actor strikes. By the way, support the strikes, I'll have links to learn more in the description. However, I still love the Blue Beetle, specifically the third user of the name, Reyes, who's the main star of the film, and I want to get people interested in his stories from the comics, so we're going to go over 3 Blue Beetle books starring Jaime Reyes today to hopefully get you interested in his comics. The first Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle comic run was started in 2006 and lasted for 36 issues. While the inciting incident deals with the fallout from the event comic Infinite Crisis, the comic explains everything you need to know and how it affected Jaime in the book itself. So don't worry about that and enjoy the ride, because this is a fun comic. It follows Jaime having to adjust back to his home life, friends, and family after a year-long break, along with having to learn about his powers that come from the scarab. While this is a basic premise for a superhero to many, it's all the little details that makes this comic stand out. Having Jaime's family know his superhero identity right off the bat, along with being very involved with his life, is a great change of pace from the usual fare for a teenage superhero and leads to charming character interactions. Despite all the sci-fi and DC legacy stuff that dominates the plot, the real appeal for me comes from all these little but enjoyable character interactions. Jaime's first comic run was a really charming superhero tale, and sadly that can't be said about the next 2 Blue Beetle comic runs that were part of the New 52 and DC Rebirth, comic relaunch events that DC did to improve sales. I tried reading the Rebirth run from 2016 for this video because I heard it's the better of the 2, but it was bogged down in continuity questions about Ted Kord's role in DC Comics. He was the last Blue Beetle and he was dead, but then the universe rebooted and Even besides that, I just found the book underwhelming and kinda boring. There's good bits in it, don't get me wrong, but don't start with this comic if you want to read some Blue Beetle. And that sucks, because the DC Rebirth era produced a lot of critically acclaimed bangers, so it's sad to see Blue Beetle didn't get the same treatment. So despite Jaime's well-received first run of comics, and cool appearances and stuff like Brave and the Bold plus Young Justice, the comic struggled for so long to capture what people liked about the character in an accessible and fun book. That is until 2023, where we got the miniseries Blue Beetle Graduation Day. And it is the best Blue Beetle comic since Jaime's original run ended. While it's not an origin story, I still think it works super well as a jumping on point for Jaime's stories, along with giving fans of the character what they want, that being seeing Jaime grow. The main internal conflict Jaime has in this book is that he's graduated from high school and now has to figure out what he's gonna do next in his life. A really relatable struggle for someone his age, and it's executed so well here. The comic is a blast to read thanks to the visually striking artwork, fun interactions from characters both old and new, and some interesting expansion on the alien race that made the scarab, the Reach. It's a great time, and I'm so glad I can recommend this book easily after the disappointment and confusion of the Rebirth run. The paperback collection for Graduation Day is out now, both digitally and at bookstores, and if you enjoyed that book, I highly recommend checking out Jaime's upcoming new comics by the same creative team as Graduation Day that will start trickling out monthly in September. I'm very excited for the new book, especially with the promise of new Beetle heroes of various colors being introduced, and I already love the tease of that concept we got in Graduation Day. Overall, despite the highs and lows of the characters' books, I really love Jaime Reyes. I was first introduced to him during the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon, and I loved his cool alien armor powers mixed with his dorky but perceptive personality. His kindness and ambition of a better life for his family and friends is what got the previously destructive scarab meant for evil to work together for him, and that kindness is an admirable trait that makes me love these kinds of superheroes. Ultimately, while he may be unfairly judged by some as an average teen superhero in a sea of superheroes, I still think Jaime Reyes is one of the coolest DC characters, and I hope you check out some of his comics or his shiny new movie.